Hi, I'm Ellie Tuckman, and today we're going to talk about assessment. Now, when most people think about assessment in schools, they think about tests, they think about report cards, they think about grades. And that makes sense because those are the most common forms of assessment used in school. Naturally, there are a lot of other forms of assessment that could be used in schools. But before we can talk about types of assessment, forms of assessment, and ways to assess children, it makes sense to talk about what the purpose of assessment is. After all, if you're going to design something, you need to know what your goals are before you can go ahead and design. Okay? So let's talk broadly about assessment and the purposes. Now, in order to illustrate the point, I'm going to use examples from outside the world of education. Now, broadly speaking, assessment falls into two major categories. There's summative assessment and formative assessment. Summative assessment is assessment that is intended to make a judgment about what's happened in the past. It is summative. Now, a really good example of summative assessment is the fireman exam. Now, at the end of the fireman's training, he needs to pass an exam, or she, and the purpose of that exam is to determine whether that individual has what it takes to be a fireman. Now, after all, you don't want somebody who's a fireman in training to be rescuing you from a burning building. You want somebody who is fully capable of doing all of the roles of a fireman. And therefore, we need an assessment at the end of the process that says, are they or are they not able to make this bar? That's a summative assessment. Formative assessment is something that we're more used to thinking about in terms of the world of sports. Think about a coach. Now, a coach, in assessing his gymnast, in assessing his baseball player, okay, or assessing her swimmer, they're going to go every day and they're going to watch the work that their athlete puts in. And each day they're going to sit down with their athlete and they're going to say, you did this well, you did this not so well. I don't like the swing. You got to focus more on the center. Keep your eye on the ball. Okay, make your turns better. Now that's formative assessment because the purpose of the assessment is not to look back, although it does look back to assess, but to look forward. To say, here's what you're doing well, here's what you can do even better. And so we have summative assessment, that is a judgment on the past, and formative assessment that is intended to help us build for the future.